guys, is the
Doug, stop all of that now.
we have a moody 5-year-old, which is our dog.
It's a beagle.
Moody
They're a
beagle
musical
bunch.
canine. Hey guys, we're the final couple, and today we will be reviewing Shelby Oaks.
I was actually really surprised by this movie, mainly because I went into it blind. You had found the movie, and I told you I didn't want to see a trailer. I didn't want to know anything about it. I really just wanted to go into it and be either pleasantly surprised or wildly disappointed. And I was surprised. It was a great movie.
Yeah, so just for like a quick background, this is a movie that was created by a guy that's been doing movie reviews on YouTube for quite a while, I guess many years. So I kind of had a bit of background because I had seen a few interviews, and I've seen a couple of this guy's reviews. His name's Chris Stuckmann, and the movie, this is his debut, which I will say, great debut movie. Even if you don't like it, you have to give the guy
Some
some
credit.
credit for that because it was a good movie on a low budget. I think they ended up spending about
Right.
under $3 million, which is considered a pretty low budget film. So I think it's a great start for his career. And it also takes a lot of courage to be a movie critic and then make a movie because obviously people are gonna criticize it and review it and all that stuff. So kudos to him. But yeah, this is essentially a very quick description of the movie. It's a mix of like a found footage type of movie mixed with just your normal
Cinematic
like
film.
cinematic scary movie, like
Mhm.
right down the middle. So if you hate found footage, you'll be okay. It's not the entire movie. It's probably
Right.
20 to 30% of the movie. And if you love that, you're going to get your kicks there. So um other than that, not to get into too many spoilers, it's essentially sisters, and one of the sisters is in a paranormal group, kind of like ghost hunters or ghost adventures, and that's where you're gonna get your found footage. She goes on to a place, or she visits a place in Shelby Oaks, and it's like an abandoned town. And after that visit, she disappears. There's some mysterious video, and then her sister, who's really the main character of this movie, it's following her and her quest, the mystery of figuring out what happened to her sister.
Yeah. And just to go back to the found footage part of the film, that since I went into the film basically blind, not knowing what it was about, I actually thought that the whole film was going to be in that found or not found footage, that mockumentary style, which I guess is also the found footage. And so I actually liked it. I liked that beginning part of the film. It actually reminded me a little bit of the movie Conversations with the Devil. So if you've seen that, you'll understand what I'm saying. But anyway, they start out the film with the mockumentary, and seamlessly it flows into the cinematic movie, which I thought was really cool. I had never seen it done in that way. And so I have to give him props for that. That was really cool. But yeah, as far as the protagonist goes, I felt like the actress who played Mia did a phenomenal job. She was very natural with her micro movements and her just the way when she felt scared or um, upset. It was very natural. So I didn't even realize this was a low budget film. I had never heard of any of these actors before, but they did a fantastic job, and it was really enjoyable to watch.
So I guess just
I,
like starting with like the positives of the movie, we've already touched on this, but it's one of the better movies that combines the found footage and the real, traditional cinematic, and it flows very well. The first like 15 minutes of the movie is just complete mockumentary, and then a very like traumatic scene happens, and then it goes to the opening credits, which kind of lets you know that this is going to be a mix of that. So I think that's definitely a positive thing for the movie in general.
yeah,
Like I said earlier, it's going to approach fans of both found footage and people that don't like found footage. I think it's a very good medium there. I think that it's actually genuinely scary,
it's
which
got a lot of eerie moments where you're just like, what is happening. It really does capture your attention because even though the concept of the movie, because again, not to go through the spoilers, it is more of a demonic type of movie, which isn't necessarily a new concept. But as they went into the storyline, you found yourself more and more intrigued by what was going on and invested in the main character's journey to finding her sister. So I do also want to say that was really great how they were able to grab your attention initially, and you were able to go through the movie feeling like you wanted to solve this mystery, because not all movies are that invest, like you don't really get that invested in some of them. Like I'm kind of an ADD person, so I'll space out. But I was actually, it really did grab my attention, and I was interested in knowing what was going on.
So yeah, it's a good mix of genuinely scary. There was a lot of pop scares, and with found footage movies in general, a lot of it is not what actually happens; it's the anticipation. So it did a good job of having a lot of anticipation, but it also had a good mystery to it. Like you are on the adventure with the sister to figure out what happened. It's the mockumentary style, so there's detectives and local news outlets. Everyone's trying to put together the pieces, and they even use reference like YouTubers and just
Yeah,
like
I thought that was pretty cool.
modern day like social media stuff of people talking, either talking smack about the group or trying to figure out what's happening. Does
Hmm.
a good job of piecing all of that together. I think
To make
that
it feel really like real.
yeah, and I think there was even a few, YouTubers that had cameos in it, kind of doing, like, fake YouTube videos for some of the newsreels. Like we mentioned earlier, this guy came from YouTube, so it was interesting to see how he put his flair on that, and I think that it shined very well, him a incorporating that into, uh, the dynamic of the movie.
Yeah. Um, I want to talk about some of the things that I thought could be better. First of all, the ending was a little bit lukewarm for me. I feel like you're invested in this mystery. It had a very eerie, mysterious feel to it the entire time. And then at the end, the last act of the movie, you kind of felt like everything was resolved, but in a way that felt too simple for what it was trying to go for, in my opinion. I felt like it was just a little bit like, okay. So the main antagonist of the movie, the demon, or, that figure, was not actually that scary once you got to see them toward the end, because I felt like, well, I'm going to start by saying you saw them way too much, and it was almost like it ruined the mystery and the allure of what the demon was. Also, I feel like the use of CGI did not need to be there for that particular character. I feel like you could have used practical effects on this character. And I mean, I get it. If I just realized, I actually just found out earlier that it was a low budget film, which is incredible because you would have never guessed. I did not know that. And I guess when you're working on a lower budget, maybe CGI is the way to go. But I think that if they would have just taken that extra step to do a more practical effect with maybe costumes and makeup, obviously, that it would definitely make that character a little bit more haunting. And then another thing to that note of the villain being not as mysterious as I'd like them to be. They just, like I said, showed them way too much. If they would have just showed maybe like little sides of them, make it, I don't know, like hiding behind the tree, which they had done at one scene. Spoiler alert. Not that that's anything to spoil, but like little side pieces of the character make it more like, ooh, like spooky, mysterious. But when you're just seeing him over and over, you're just kind of getting used to it, desensitized to this demonic person, if that makes sense. And I just think that that's something that I would have maybe done differently.
Yeah, this is a movie where it's like less is more. The first 2 acts was great because it showed very, very little. Even the jump scares, you didn't see much. It's all anticipation. It's found footage, which usually that's traditionally how it is. You're not seeing a lot of things happen. It's in the background, or it's this or it's that, and I thought that was great. And it was too too on the nose, the ending of the movie. And once they start showing the bad guy and showing the scenes, and then we see him in CGI, I think this is a movie that, because it's low budget, I get it, right? But you could have rewritten the ending to where you just show this individual, the entity, the scary thing, less, or in a more intelligent way to where you have to just put two and two together. But it seemed like the last 30 of the minutes, it turned into more of like a actual like action movie, or like a action horror, where we see the guy, he's very present, and that just didn't really match the vibe of how the movie actually started.
Mhm.
So, if they were able to fix that and make the ending flow better and less predictable. I thought it was extremely predictable, to where you didn't have to put anything together.
Toward the
It
end there,
it
yeah,
laid it all out for you. There was nothing to be left
and
to
to
the
interpret.
imagination. This is how it ends. It was a twist, quote unquote, but it was so predictable that I don't think anyone was just like, "Oh man!" Like
I didn't even
it.
think of
It
that,
was
yeah,
right in your face, which to me was complete opposite of how the movie started at the beginning, of just total mystery, figuring it
absolutely.
out. And so that was the biggest negative that I would have for this film. If they would have just tweaked that a bit, and I think they could have done it on a low budget. I think they could have just been more mysterious, and cut out honestly just a lot from the ending. Just cut out a lot of it.
Yeah,
It would have been it would have been a couple more points up the scale for me.
mhm. I would agree with that. But that being said, it doesn't take away from the movie itself, like, completely. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie by any means. It's definitely worth checking out, especially during the spooky season. Definitely go check that movie out because it actually is a really great
It was an
movie, and
enjoyable
it's
movie in the
yeah.
theaters. It was fun.
All right. Well, that's our review on Shelby Oaks. Let us know in the comments below if you've seen this movie or if you plan on seeing it.